Guys, do you remember CERN? That machine that obviously everybody swore was gonna open a portal and end the world.
Look at the 1800s, type in any city you want and do the great fire of that city. They burnt this whole country.
Ever since they turned CERN off, there's been some weird things happening with the Mandela Effect.
Mandela Effect, if you don't know about it, is things that we thought were happening, but no, it was actually like this.
What if the Mandela Effect is proof that you survived the end of the world? Think about it. Millions of people remember things differently.
Something strange has happened with our memories. Things that millions of us swear existed apparently never did. And now, there are new Mandela effects emerging. So the question is, did our memories change? Or there's something else? Welcome back to Stranger Chaos.
Okay, ready? Right here, on the border between France and Switzerland, is the biggest science experiment ever built. It's this huge tunnel, over 100 meters underground and 27 kilometers long, running under nearby homes and businesses and farms. And inside that tunnel, scientists put a long blue tube, big enough to crawl through. And inside that tube, they put two pipes that they keep colder and emptier than outer space. And down those pipes, they fire particles smaller than atoms, in opposite directions, pushing them faster and faster and faster until, when they're almost at the speed of light, they smash together, sending subatomic debris flying off into this massive detector. This underground particle smasher took thousands of people from over 100 different countries, $5 billion, and over 30 years to plan and build. My question was, why? Why do this? Why spend so much money and time to smash particles together in an underground tunnel? And now, why do so many people say that what we really need to do is build a bigger one?
Future circular collider, new particle accelerator,
Building a bigger one.
in Geneva, Switzerland, more than 3 times its size and twice as deep.
I'm going all the way to Switzerland, to the particle smasher itself, to understand what's really going on here, and to go on a journey that will forever change how I see myself and the world around me.
-1, please, yeah.
I'm in an elevator on my way down to the giant particle smasher, more scientifically known as the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC. It's inside the biggest and most famous physics lab in the world, CERN. I can't believe I'm here. Getting to visit here is a really big deal. Thousands of scientists from all around the world gather here to do cutting-edge research about how the universe works. Beyond that yellow door is one of the places where particles actually collide. Specifically, this one, the Atlas detector.
Oh my God. It's beautiful.
This thing is huge. To give you a sense of scale, just look at it compared to a person.
Look how small they are. Those are people compared to this enormous machine. How did you put this in here?
So we can see from down here that there is a shaft above us. If people have the hobby to build a ship in a bottle, it's exactly the same way of constructing. You have to lower it in and then construct it in place.
I'm so amazed that people built this.
This giant underground detector is where those particles finally collide after being sped up close to the speed of light around that 27-kilometer track.
Where is the collision happening?
So the collision happens over here. So the detector is symmetrical around the collision point, and so we're at one end of it.
The detector is big, but the actual collider part is very small.
What you can see in the center is the Large Hadron Collider, so you can really see how tiny the beam pipe is.
Each pipe is about the size of your two hands, like this, or about the diameter of an orange, with thousands of magnets running along it that force the particles within that pipe into a space the width of a human hair.
I just accidentally pulled out one of my hairs in order to demonstrate.
Guys, do you remember CERN? That machine that obviously everybody swore was going to open a portal and end the world, because they just shut that down and they're building an even more powerful one. They're saying that this is the biggest shutdown that they have ever had in history, and they're spending about $1.5 billion trying to rebuild it. Their plan is to make it about 10 times more powerful with brand new magnets and something that they call crab cavities that slam way more particles together.
As the bunches fly by each other, you would like that basically every particle in this bunch is able to go through the other bunch so that we maximize the probability of it colliding from the other beam.
Which is great. And then they're saying that it's all to study the God particle and finally find dark matter. So this is the same machine that people claim caused the Mandela Effect, where half of the planet swears it was the Berenstain Bears when it was actually the Berenstain Bears. People also think it's been quietly shifting us into parallel universes, so obviously pick your side. So now conspiracy theorists all online are saying that this upgrade is just a cover story and they turned it off right as reality started to feel like it was shifting. Hey, these are all conspiracies, but what do you think is actually going on in there?
Ever since they turned CERN off, there's been some weird things happening with the Mandela Effect.
I mean, look at the risky business dance scene, buddy. Tom Cruise, pink shirt. Go look it up right now. Every single Halloween costume guide online shows him in a pink shirt and then recommends a white one. Pink shirt next to a white shirt, side by side, like two different memories existing at the same time.
Okay, but maybe it's just a costume thing.
Then explain Fruit of the Loom, buddy. Go look at their logo right now. Millions of people remember a cornucopia sitting behind the fruit. It has never existed in any version of that logo.
So what does CERN have to do with any of this?
The machine runs for years, punching through the fabric of reality, and whatever it opened doesn't just close. And now we're sitting here stuck between two timelines, two versions of the same memory, and the only thing that changed is that machine went dark.
So which timeline are we actually in?
That's the part nobody wants to answer. If we were fully in one timeline, things would be consistent, but they're not. And that machine sitting offline right now isn't fixing anything. Also, go check both of those logos yourself and tell me what you remember.
Well, CERN is officially shut down for the next 4 years, and if you don't know what CERN is, it's the world's largest LHC. And the last time they turned it off, well, that was 2020, and COVID happened. Now, I'm not saying it's related to that, but I'm also not saying that it's not. But I wasn't going to make a video on this until I did a little bit of detective work online for the past 24 hours. And I kept seeing a similarity between people talking about something. So let me ask you a question. Has your Wi-Fi been acting really weird lately, or you just haven't had it at all? Have you been experiencing body pain, more specifically shoulder and back? Have you also been feeling like time is moving extremely quickly, yet everything during that time doesn't feel real? When I see thousands, we'll say thousands and thousands of people all talking about similar experiences and symptoms around the entire world, it kind of strikes a red flag in me and I need to look into it. So I need to know, since CERN shut down yesterday and leading up to that, have you been experiencing any of that? Because I will tell you this, I've experienced all four.
So CERN is set to close down on June 29th, 2026. Okay.
Again.
It'll be shut down for 4 years until June of 2030. So that's fun, you know, especially given that they're building a new one, which is like 10 times the size of the current one, something like that.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Where?
In, I'll show you. We'll pull it up in a second. So the last time it shut down was between 2018 and 2022.
That was a fun time for us all, wasn't it?
Listen, I didn't think that there was any like unrest around the world at all, right? There is zero doubt that between now and 2030, the entire world will be radically changed. That's for absolute sure.
I have goosebumps.
And this is all happening as AI emerges as this thing that is going to literally completely change the whole world. You got to ask yourself, doesn't it feel like that all kind of came out of nowhere? You know what I mean? You're like, I mean, I know they've been talking about AI, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It
just like popped up one day and it's like, oh, ChatGPT's here.
And
let me ask you this question. Do you believe that time has slowed down ever since the Hadron Collider shut off? Or do you believe that it's a fabric of my imagination, of the collective imagination? Do you believe that it's a mass hallucination and we're all just distracted by technology, iPhones, social media, you know, constantly bombarded with stimulation after stimulation after stimulation?
So correct me if I'm wrong. Matter of fact, prove me wrong. I want you to prove me wrong. Ever since CERN shut down on June 29th, things have changed. And it's going to be a lot of people that say, oh no, nothing changed with me. But it's a rabbit hole full of people that understand that things change. First of all, let's start off with the fact that before CERN shut the Hadron Collider off, there was no K in Chick-fil-A. Even though people argued and argued that there was a K in Chick-fil-A, but there wasn't a K in Chick-fil-A. As soon as CERN shut down, there's randomly now a K in Chick-fil-A. C-H-I-C-K filet.
Wasn't it just this the other day? What? This, not that.
And let's not forget Fruit of the Loom. Now, they're saying that the cornucopia is back in Fruit of the Loom. People were having arguments after arguments saying that there was never a cornucopia in Fruit of the Loom. How did it get back here? You have multiple people saying that ever since CERN shut down, they've been able to sleep. They feel like time is moving slower. And I just don't take things on face value. So I went down a rabbit hole. There are multiple videos of multiple people saying they feel like they've been sleeping longer. I seen a video with a guy saying that he went to sleep for 45 minutes. And that 45 minutes felt the longest it has ever felt in a long time. But now let's go back to before CERN shut down. You have videos of people saying that days felt like it was short. Time felt like it was faster. And they could not get enough sleep. This machine is supposed to be up for 4 years. I wonder what's going to happen in 4 years.
Are you feeling any different since CERN was shut down? And why do I say that? Because people all over social media are claiming that time has slowed down since they shut CERN down. And is it all in their head? Or is it something to do with a CERN timeline? And is the CERN timeline something that's actually real? And CERN officially shut down as of June 29, 2026, and won't reopen until 2030. And after CERN shut down, people went to social media to ask, do you feel different? Are days longer? Are you sleeping better? Is the ringing in your ear still happening, or has it stopped? So is this all psychological, or is it just something that's actually happening? Have a listen to some of these videos and what individuals are experiencing since the shutdown of CERN.
Here's what I've been experiencing. People from my old life are suddenly resurfacing. I've been forced to face my old life and my past a lot the last few days. I've had events that have popped up that mirrored events that have happened in my life years and years ago.
Opposed to before they turned this thing off, people were saying time was going very fast, which I would agree. And today was super, super long. Seemed like it took forever, and I was able to take a nap as well. And before that, I was having trouble taking naps, and I was having trouble sleeping and waking up super early at like 5 a.m. But now, since this particle collider has been turned off, I noticed that I've been able to sleep.
And if you recall, back in 2008, that's when CERN fired up the Hadron Collider. And a lot of things since then and now have occurred that have a lot of people asking questions. Does CERN allegedly have something to do with it? So, are you buying into what those are claiming? That since CERN was turned off, they have longer days, they're able to sleep. Some have even claimed that the ringing sound that they've been hearing for so long is finally gone. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
There are many reasons why people believe they're shutting down CERN. Some believe to slow down time. Others believe because we're about to merge into another timeline. And then there are those who believe that they're advancing the technology to make this thing even more powerful. This is my personal belief. I believe that there's not just one, there's many Hadron Colliders all around the world. And I believe that these CERNs will cause these great disasters, earthquakes and so forth. But that's a whole different podcast, because we'll have to dive into HAARP and connect both of those because they control the weather. I'll bring that back on Stranger Chaos, no worries. But here, look, let's get back on point. I have a couple more clips to show you, then we're going to dive into the Mandela Effects. Yo, we live in some strange, crazy times. It's both exciting and frightening all at the same time.
June the 29th, 6 a.m, we switch off the Large Hadron Collider for 4 years. We're replacing about 1.2 kilometers of the 27-kilometer ring with the high luminosity LHC magnets. This will give us a machine that's 10 times brighter than the Large Hadron Collider, 10 times more data. So it really is an opportunity to explore the universe in a way we haven't done before. And what that does is when the particles come around, and then we bend them towards each other, if you make the bunches of protons smaller and smaller, you get many, many more collisions. You concentrate everything in the same place. That's what these super high field magnets are doing. Installing this is a massive task. It's by far the biggest thing that CERN has done for the last 20 years. And what we're doing here in this building is this is a test string. We're testing the technology, and it's much easier to test it here rather than in the confined spaces of the LHC tunnel. And we've already learned some really critical information about some of the design of this. We've updated the design based on our tests. And it's amazing to be here today that this is now operating, it's at its operating temperature of 1.9 Kelvin. So this is a superconducting liquid helium system operating at 1.9 Kelvin. That was a massive milestone for us in this project. So we're now confident that when we go underground and start installing the high luminosity Large Hadron Collider, we will be successful. We know what we're doing. We've tested the installation procedures here.
This is the collider, okay? I don't understand why they're spending trillions of dollars on this stupid thing. This is the current collider, LHC, in Switzerland, and now they're going to build a bigger one. And you see how big it is, right? What are they trying to do here? Are they really trying to figure out particle physics? Maybe, maybe not. All right? All right, guys. Jacob Frank. What Jacob Frank tells us is there are different dimensions, okay? And another dimension is Big Brother, who's a friend of his, but he's stuck in his dimension. He's trying to come to our dimension, but he needs our help. So what's CERN particle accelerator trying to do, right? Is it really trying to discover particle physics, or is it really trying to break the dimensions, like they did with the nuclear bomb? You understand? People believe the nuclear bomb, it was really about creating an interdimensional portal for Big Brother to come into. And now people are saying, is it possible the CERN particle accelerator is trying to bring in these interdimensional demons to our world to conquer us, to enslave us? That would make a lot more sense than particle physics, okay, guys?
I'm going to expose what the Vatican is really doing with CERN and why they're terrified. They don't want you knowing this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. The Vatican has a telescope in Arizona named the Lucifer telescope. And I'm not kidding. That's the actual name. And why would the Catholic Church name their telescope after a fallen angel? Because they're not looking for God. They're looking for the others. Now, they want to connect to CERN because it's a Large Hadron Collider, a particle collider located in Switzerland. And they're trying to open portals to other dimensions. And the Vatican is directly involved in research. As a matter of fact, they're funding it. The ancients warned us about this in the Sumerian tablets, about the entities from other dimensions that manipulated human DNA and enslaved us. The Vatican's 5-mile underground archive contains these texts, and they know the truth about human origins, about the Anunnaki, and about our true human potential. And they're using that technology to either contact these beings or open gateways. And this isn't a conspiracy, this is a documented fact. So if you're waking up right now, it's because your frequency is rising above their control programming. Time to see what's really happening.
Now the moment y'all been waiting for. Let's dive into a few Mandela effects, because there are so many. And there are new ones apparently. Because these are the effects that millions of people have argued about for years, and not just hundreds or thousands, but millions of people all swear the same thing. And whether it's bad memory, something that we picked up, just from online forums, Reddits, conspiracies, or something much stranger, some of these things are hard to shake. Let's see how good your memory is.
You know why they shut down CERN for 4 years? It's not why you think. Every time they started CERN up, something crazy would happen. It seemed like every time they powered on the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC for short, there would be a new Mandela Effect that popped up. The most recent Mandela Effect everyone noticed was this: Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. All remember Charlie opening up a chocolate bar to give to his family when it was a dud that didn't have the golden ticket. When people go back to rewatch it, he opens up a moon pie. That never happened. At least not in the timeline before CERN started. Apparently when CERN opens back up in 2030, they are literally going to double the amount of experiments. Which means we can expect all new shifts in our reality and way more Mandela effects. As always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.
I'm literally terrified. I didn't have a strong opinion about the Mandela Effect until I saw this. So you remember these popsicles with like characters' faces on them? There was Dora, there was SpongeBob, but there was not Boots. But I swear I remember there being a Boots. Someone drew that up from their own memory and posted it onto Reddit on a forum talking about it. But you can't tell me that didn't exist. I vividly remember the Boots one, because I never wanted the Boots one. Here's the post I found it from. But yeah, this never existed. There was never a Boots popsicle. And
Alright guys, so this is probably the 4th time I'm making this video because TikTok keeps on taking my stuff down. So stay tuned on what I'm about to show you. I'm gonna go into my safe here and show you a couple Mandela effects that I'm now gonna come out and show them to the world. So look at what I got here. Oh, hold on. So I got the Berenstain Bears, not Berenstain Bears, Berenstain. It's an actual book. I also have the Shazam VHS. And last but not least, it's paint, by the way. It's not what you guys are all talking shit before. Hold on, let me find the tag on these. If you guys can see the cornucopia. See the cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom tag? So Fruit of the Loom denies ever having a cornucopia on their sweatpants. Yeah, so Fruit of the Loom denies ever having a cornucopia under sweatpants. The Berenstain Bears are saying it's always been the Berenstain Bears. And there's also saying that the Shazam video never existed. I also have a old jar of Jiffy peanut butter that they're saying it's always been Jif, not Jiffy. I'm proving all the Mandela effects wrong, right? However you want to take it. I'm proving the Mandela theory. So, if you see this video, share it, like, follow, comment. Let me know how you were taught growing up. Because TikTok keeps taking my stuff down. It's not a conspiracy, guys. It's real life shit. So, just keep sharing this video. Share the video. Get it out there to as many people as you can. I had about 100,000 followers before my account was banned before. So, let's get the video out there and prove it to the world. Later.
How many of you have seen that video? Now this video have generated about 1 million views on TikTok. And it was based in 2025. But we're going to discuss the new Mandela effects. But let's revisit some that's already believed to be existed. Now, I want to touch on Shazam. I remember watching Sinbad as the original Shazam. I love that movie. In fact, I'm a huge fan of Sinbad. So I've watched a lot of his movies. So for someone to say that it was Shaq, or someone to say that Sinbad was never Shazam, yo, I would disagree with you, and I am not crazy. Maybe I am. But I know many of you have seen Shazam. Y'all remember Sinbad, right?
Mandela Effect, if you don't know about it, is things that we thought were happening, but no, it was actually like this. What do you guys remember? The Bernstein Bears or the Berenstein Bears?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not even sure about that.
Okay, so they're saying that it was the Bernstein Bears, but it was the Berenstein Bears. Or what do you guys remember about the Monopoly Man? He had what?
A hat on.
What else did he have?
He had a cane.
Okay.
Cane mustache?
Did he have a monocle?
Felt like he had a monocle.
Yeah, definitely had one.
Did he?
So things that have happened are kind of like
It
changing.
didn't happen. Did Curious George have a tail or not? Do you guys remember a movie, Kazam?
Shazam.
That's not the Shaq one, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
Do you remember Shazam?
Shazam. Are we talking about the Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
No, with Sinbad.
Oh, with Sinbad. Shazam. I feel like I heard about Shazam.
Okay. They said it never existed.
They said it never existed.
There's a Kazam movie with Shaq, and there's a Shazam movie with Sinbad. They said Shazam never happened. I remember seeing that movie.
And what does the actors that played in that movie say?
He said, well, yeah, like he kind of played along with it, but then he said, nah, it never happened. But again, here's the thing.
It's a fucking VHS.
That's what I'm saying. People are saying, okay, even the look at that. Even even Fruit of the Loom. What do you guys remember? Just the fruit or the cornucopia on it? The little brown thing on it?
I remember the brown thing.
Never happened.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's what I'm saying.
I remember the brown thing.
So they said it's just the fruit, the cornucopia, but people are finding all over the internet, they're finding pictures like, wait a minute, I have a sock and there's a cornucopia on it. There's a shirt with a cornucopia on it. They're like, something's going on. Because again, you could write it off like, it's probably bullshit, whatever. I think they're gaslighting us, and I think that there's timelines probably bleeding into what things happened, what things didn't. And
you think someone's rewriting history?
I think they're trying to.
Wait a minute, there's no way this is right. In this classic 90s Britney Spears music video, Hit Me Baby One More Time, her skirt was plaid, right? Wait, what? No, there's no way. And while we're on Britney Spears, she had a microphone in this video, didn't she? Like the one that attaches? Where did that go? Oh, you're saying she never had it? Well then why did Lizzie McGuire have one when she parodied the video? And why did the doll have it? And do you remember Snuffy, Big Bird's companion from Sesame Street? Do you remember his full name? Snuffleupagus, right? Wrong, it was apparently Snuffleupagus. And do you remember Tweedledee and Tweedledum from Alice in Wonderland? And the little propellers on their hats, right? Wrong, they were apparently flags. And you remember the Disney theme opening where Tinkerbell flies in and dots the I? I guess Disney says that actually never happened. My guess is maybe we're confusing it with this one. Let me know which ones you remember.
First, the Britney Spears thing. She was wearing a plaid shirt. I remember that because I've watched that video probably a million times as a teenager. She was. Secondly, the Tinkerbell, she always used to fly around and touch the top of the castle, and then she will vanish into sprinkles. Sprinkles, yeah, sparkles. But yo, my guys, brothers, sisters, those of you who are Britney Spears fan, I'm not anymore, but I mean, I was a kid at that time watching her, so I mean, watching that video. Come on, guys. I bet y'all seen that video millions of times. What color shirt was she wearing? Drop it in the comments below. Let's go.
The big joke in this film was that she had braces. So Jules, the man with the metal teeth, smiles at her. She's got metal teeth. Now she doesn't have braces, that joke's gone. It's going to change reality. They have technology to change the past.
You remember the scene, but something is missing. In Moonraker, everybody appears to remember the same thing. When she smiles back at Jaws, she's wearing braces. Except, they're not really there. Same thing. And in Forrest Gump, it's not. Life is like a box of chocolates. It's
life was like a box of chocolates.
And it's crazy because collectively everyone remembers what was said. So when they look it up and realise it's been erased almost, so what else do you remember that isn't there anymore? Let me know your thoughts and comments down below.
Hey, check this out. Look at the 1800s, type in any city you want and do the Great Fire of that city. They burnt this whole country, all the major cities in the 1800s. Type in any city right now. The Great Fire of Los Angeles, the Great Fire of San Diego, the Great Fire of Cleveland, the Great Fire of New York City, the Great Fire of Chicago, the Great Fire of Tallahassee. Pick a city. I guarantee you there was a fire, 1800s, early 1900s. What was that? How does all these cities just miraculously go on fire and burn to the ground?
Legendary comedian Jim Brewer bringing up a valid point. What happened in the 1900s and why were there so many fires? He doesn't bring up a valid point. He says test it. Go to Google and put the Great Fire in blank, and guaranteed in any city that you look up in the US in the 1900s, 1800s, there was a huge fire that burnt the city down. Believe me, right here, the Great Fire of Chicago, 1871. Great Fire of Memphis in 1872, a year later. Great Fire of San Francisco, 1851. Great Fire of Philadelphia, 1850. Great Fire of Cincinnati, 1881. Great Fire of Pittsburgh, 1845. Great Fire of Boston, 1872. This goes on and on and on. Don't believe me? Look it up for yourself. My question is, how were all these fires happening all around the same time? Was everything just made of highly flammable wood? Something does not add up in our history because these buildings were also being built around the same time. The Chicago Federal Building that was built in 1898. How are these buildings being built in these cities that are still standing, but also all of the city is burning to the ground? Exactly what were they trying to erase in the 1800s? They were trying to erase history, they were trying to erase fact, and they were trying to erase title deeds. I don't know exactly what they were trying to do, but they did it. Or something is going on. There is no way that all of these fires happened all around the same time. We're also building European, Greek-like structures all over America and calling them federal buildings. We're having record number fires burning entire cities to the ground. Something doesn't add up. Check it for yourself. Go to Google and put the Great Fire of and put a city name in and be astonished. Let me know what you think.
For those of you who have seen the Tartar video, yo, it's making sense, ain't it? If you look in the 1800s, there were numerous fires, mudslides. What were they destroying? And I believe that they have been controlling weather long before the 1800s. But that's gonna be a whole different podcast because it's all connected, yo. Man, our history is blurred lines for real. Let's continue down this rabbit hole.
Forget Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura, where he called a bald man with a monocle Mr. Monopoly, but Mr. Monopoly never had a monocle in this timeline. Forget David Carriere in Full House. Yeah, Uncle Joey doesn't exist. He was never an uncle. Nope. He was just Danny's friend. He was never officially an uncle in Full House. Forget you have never been to Payless Shoe Stores. You have never been to Payless Shoe Stores because it doesn't exist. Nope, it is Payless Shoe Source. Shoe Stores doesn't exist in this timeline. Never forget the Miss Doubtfire actress Sally Fields is actually named Sally Field. Yes, you like me, you really, really like me. Oscar winner Sally Field. There has never been an S in this timeline. Never been an S. You're misremembering. And her brother just so happens to be one of the top scientists in CERN. Not making that up. That's a real fact. Never forget American pastor Joel Osteen is not a real person. It's actually Joel Osteen. There's no L in his name. Not never. Nope. You don't remember it because it doesn't exist. Don't forget the Roadrunners catchphrase. Yes, what is the American cartoon, the Roadrunners catchphrase? Meep meep. Nope, you're wrong. In this timeline, it's beep beep. He's actually mimicking a car. Beep beep. Meep meep is something that we all made up in our head because it doesn't exist in this timeline. 1950 show Bewitched. What was her signature move she did before she did magic? Was it wiggle her nose? Nope, that doesn't exist in this timeline. Nope, she never wiggled her nose in this timeline. Look it up. She only wiggled her lips. Yes, her lips. She has never wiggled her nose in this timeline. Get it together. You're misremembering. Let me know if any of these changed for you. It's us.
Bro, tell me why I'm actually convinced that right now in 2026 that there has been some sort of timeline shift and that I definitely shifted timelines because when was Payless Shoe Stores ever Payless Shoe Stores? People in my hometown chime in because I looked up the one in Grand Junction and the one in Glenwood Springs and it says source. Like,
I think we skipped timelines again, y'all. Because when did Chick-fil-A going back to have a K instead of just a C? If you can remember, before CERN shut down, the word Chick-fil-A did not have a K in it. And I specifically remember it just having a C because everyone said we were crazy when we said the K was missing before. But now it's back. This, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Moon Pie, have me 100% believing Mandela effects are real. And guess what? When they turn CERN back on, it's going to produce 20 times more collisions and 380 million Higgs bosons. So if you can, try to remember everything about this reality that you can and document it. Because when CERN gets turned back on in 4 years, things are going to be a lot different. Nothing's going to be the same. As always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.
Now, we're about to enter into time travel theories. And like I said, we're just skimming the surface here because we're going to do, there's so much breakdowns we can do here, but we're going through this in segments. And each one of these segments could be 100 hours long, for real, the more you dive into it. So we'll dive into these theories separately, but they're all tying together right now. So with that being said, let's dive into time travel theories. Because this brings us back to the biggest question behind all of this. What if nothing's actually disappearing? What if we're the ones moving? There are theories that different timelines or versions of reality could exist alongside our own. And if something could somehow cause us to move between them, maybe the little differences are all we've ever noticed. A logo, a movie quote, a photograph, a memory that suddenly doesn't match reality. And that's where time travel theories begin.
Outside Geneva, Switzerland, is a gigantic physics experiment often called the Big Bang Machine, though its proper name is the Large Hadron Collider. The multi-billion-dollar project was turned on a year ago September. 9 days later, it was heavily damaged after some problems. Now, after 14 months of repairs, it is back up and running, and it could answer some of the biggest mysteries in science. Physicist Dr. Michio Kaku is host of the Science Channel's upcoming series, Sci-Fi Science, Physics of the Impossible.
The tube itself is about 8 inches across, 17 miles in circumference.
Right.
I went right up there and touched the tube. Now, of course, it's radioactive.
Right. Now, here's the problem. This thing fell apart a year and a half ago. 17 months or so ago. And some people said something was sent from the future to sabotage the machine because people in the future realized if this thing actually really works, it could recreate the Big Bang and we'd all get sucked into this black hole.
Well, there are a lot of wacky theories out there, harebrained theories. Everyone's jumping and putting their own spin on it.
Right, so to speak.
We're not going to be blown up from messengers from the future. Just realize that Mother Nature thinks of this as a pea shooter compared to cosmic rays that hit us every single day. Right. Mother Nature has atom smashers out there more powerful than this pea shooter.
All right, very good. Dr. Kalka, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
If you think time travel is impossible, here are some stories that might change your mind. Part 2. First up is CERN. CERN is, of course, home to the Large Hadron Collider, where particles are smashed together at nearly the speed of light to study reality at its smallest levels. But according to this theory, CERN was doing more than uncovering the secrets of the universe and may have accidentally altered our reality itself or shifted us into a different timeline altogether. People have connected CERN's experiments with the Mandela Effect, distorted memories, bizarre coincidences, and the growing feeling that the world had somehow been different since 2012. But with the recent shutdown to upgrade the power of the LHC, a lot of people are saying that the world has started to feel normal again. That is until the LHC restarts in 2030. The Vanishing Hotel. In 1979, two British couples were driving through France en route to Spain when they stopped at an old-fashioned hotel that seemed completely out of place. The building was lit up by oil lamps, the rooms had wooden doors with simple latches, the furnishings seemed antiquated, and the staff wore period clothing that just belonged to another era. And after spending the night, the couples continued on to Spain for their vacation, but 2 weeks later, on their way back to England, they retraced the route and attempted to stay at the same hotel because they liked it so much. But it was gone. They repeatedly searched the road where it was, but they couldn't find any trace of the building anywhere. And to add to the weirdness, the photographs that they remembered taking inside the hotel never appeared on their developed film. Did they go through a time slip into a different period in history? Next is Victor Goddard's future airfield. In 1935, RAF officer Victor Goddard flew over the abandoned Drem airfield in Scotland. The facility was overgrown, deserted, and falling into disrepair. Later though, while flying through an intense storm, Goddard found himself passing over the same airfield, but this time it looked fully operational when it shouldn't have been. He noticed that there were mechanics down below wearing blue overalls, working on these unfamiliar yellow aircraft which sat on the runway. The storm then passed, and Goddard continued on his flight. And years later, Drem Airfield reopened. RAF mechanics began wearing those blue uniforms, and the training aircraft there were painted that same yellow color that Goddard claimed to have witnessed. Did the storm somehow throw Goddard temporarily into the future? Sergei Ponomarenko. So in 2006, there was this story of a confused man in his mid-20s appearing on the streets of Kyiv, wearing clothing that looked like it was from the Soviet era. He wound up getting arrested for suspicious behavior, and the authorities found his ID, which said he was born in 1932, which would be impossible based on how young he looked. When asked what year it was, Ponomarenko insisted that it was the year 1958. He explained that he had been taking photographs with his camera when he noticed a strange disc-shaped object in the sky. After photographing it, he suddenly found himself standing in the same city, but everything had changed. According to the story, he was still carrying his camera, and when his film was processed, they showed Kyiv during the 1950s, the mysterious object that he talked about in the sky, and also an image of Ponomarenko standing near.
So I'm watching this little documentary thing on YouTube right now, and I had to stop and I gotta share this.
I had facts when I heard other time travelers calling in from any time past the year 2500 AD. Please let me explain. Time travel was invented in 2034. Offshoots of certain
Successful fusion reactor research allowed scientists at CERN to produce the world's first contained singularity engine. The basic design involves rotating singularities inside a magnetic field. By altering the speed and direction of rotation, you can travel both forward and backward in time. Time itself can be understood in terms of connected lines. When you go back in time, you travel on your original timeline. When you turn your singularity engine off, a new timeline is created due to the fact that you and your time machine are now there. Some interesting outcomes of this are, 1,
John Teeter posted diagrams of his time travel device, pictures of the operator's manual, and even pictures of the device itself. According to John, time travel is discovered in 2034 by scientists at CERN. Using this breakthrough technology, General Electric actually creates working time travel devices. These machines go through various iterations and improvements. The time travel unit John Teeter uses is a C204 gravity distortion time displacement unit, which operates using microsingularities, or tiny black holes.
The source of power for the C204 that allows it to distort and manipulate gravity comes from 2 microsingularities that were created, captured, and cleaned at a much larger and circular facility. The dual event horizons of each one and their mass is manipulated by ejecting electrons onto the surface of their respective ergospheres. The electricity comes from batteries. The breakthrough that will allow for this technology will occur within a year or so when CERN brings their larger facility online.
John Teeter talks about Kerr black holes, which are black holes that rotate, and Tipler cylinders. Now, these are real theories in physics that involve time travel. One of the most interesting pieces of technology in John Teeter's time machine is called a variable gravity lock system, or VGL. Since the machine only travels through time and not space, the VGL makes sure that the Earth is in the same place in orbit when it reaches its destination. Otherwise, you end up floating in space, which is not ideal.
The hard part of traveling through time is not the bending of gravity, but the plotting of your course and holding to the basic position in your environment. This is done through a system called VGL, Variable Gravity Lock. In effect, it holds you to the Earth. During travel, it periodically checks to see that the field is not varied. If it does, it stops and reverses course or drops out at that point. Buildings and other terrain features are avoided in the same way. As soon as the VGO sensors pick up an unexpected mass in the target world line, it would shut down.
The C204 has an array of computers, clocks, and sensors to get you to the correct date. But because timelines get more and more different the further forward or back you go, the unit maxes out at about 60 years. Someone asked him about traveling back 1,000 years. John said that you wouldn't even recognize that world.
The distortion unit reaches its target destination by using very sensitive gravity sensors and atomic clock.
So I've shown you a couple things here. You know how CERN is connected, Mandela Effects, and the new ones that occurred allegedly after CERN shut down in 2026. And now I'm going to show you some memories, testimonials of what people felt or what they saw.
What the hell is this? Seriously, what the hell is this? I've seen King Tut's sarcophagus in a dozen textbooks on countless issues of the Smithsonian, National Geographic, you name it. What the hell is this? Let me guess, guys. False memory on this one, right? That's what it is? We're just gonna act like this strange, off-centered dual creature was just on the front of King Tut's headdress? And it wasn't just a serpent? Bro, 90% of the world over the age of 30 is not crazy. Something is happening. I feel like a broken record at this point. I do. But seriously, how are more people not talking about this? Like, how is this not a bigger story? Why aren't people freaking out? Your memory is not failing you. It's not. This is weird. I have a very good memory. I remember things that I wore to first grade. I remember what I wore my first day of kindergarten. I have a memory like that. This was not King Tut's headdress. Not the way I remember it. No way. There's no way. I mean, at this point,
I am freaking the fuck out right now. What is CERN doing with our timeline? Like, what are they doing? I've been unpacking some boxes from my storage unit. I pulled these out of a cedar chest I have. And I've worn these every winter for almost 20 years. My son is 22 years old, and when he was in diapers, he was like 2.5. My best friend crocheted these for me. I bought the yarn in the colors I wanted. These are my favorite. And he crocheted it for me. He made one hat and one scarf for me. That's all I bought 2 skeins of yarn, and that was all that was going to be enough for, right? Was one hat and one scarf. What the fuck is happening? This, as you can clearly see, is a second hat, and they look different. They look different, but I don't remember this one. I remember this one because it had these weird lines where it started to separate at the bottom because he was running out of yarn. I don't remember this one at all. And what's really freaking me out is that I messaged him about it. It's like, hey dude, listen, I need you to remember this event for me correctly, okay? Because I'm not sure I am. And he said, well, what's going on? And I said, remember that scarf and hat you made for me? The one in the fall colors, and I bought the yarn. And he's like, yeah. And I said, what exactly did you crochet out of all of that? And he said, I made you one hat and one scarf because that's all you asked for, and you only gave me 2 skeins of yarn. And I was like, that's it? One hat and one scarf? And he said, yeah, that was all you gave me enough for. And I said, you didn't make me 2 hats? He goes, no, I would have needed a whole nother skein of yarn for that. So then I showed him what was happening with the hats. And he goes, what the actual fuck? He doesn't remember making a second hat either. I just found my own personal Mandela effect in the Matrix, and it's bothering me. What are they doing to time?
It's real. It's absolutely real, and I'm freaking out and bugging out this morning. You know how they said, like, CERN turned off, and then all this weird shit is happening to people? Well, listen, I'm going to confirm that this shit's real. I just jumped timelines. I'm going to show you what the hell happened, because I'm, like, seriously freaking out right now, because this is, like, impossible. So I keep my wallet, obviously, with me all the time, and back in 2024, I could not find my driver's license, right? And so did the normal thing, went down to the DMV, and I got a new one. So whatever. This morning, I'm trying to just transfer over to my little wallet thingy here that clips onto the back of my iPhone, because I figured, hey, you know, it'll be lighter and I'm running some errands. This would work. I go into my wallet and I am pulling out my ID. Now, I've always kept my like super, super old one, you know, back from like 2019, just because I kept it. They didn't tell me to destroy it, so I just kept it. And that one's been in my wallet along with my copy, you know, the one that I had printed. I jumped timelines, guys. What the actual hell? I'm actually going to show you because I'm still bugging out over it. Why the hell do I go into my wallet and there are fucking three? There are fucking three. There's the one I told you about, the old one, the copy, and then the fucking original. The original goddamn one that I lost, okay? And needed a replacement for. There have never been 3 licenses in here, just 2. Always 2. I don't know. This is one of those moments where it's like, okay, you see it on TikTok, you see it everywhere. It's happened to other people. You're like, yeah, okay, you know, jumping timelines and shit like that. The weirdest shit has been happening to me since, you know, the CERN thing happened, and I've been following that kind of whatever. But this whole driver's license thing, I mean, do you understand? I flipped my house around, you know, there's no way in hell it was in this wallet. No way. No way. I've only had 2, the old one and the replacement one. It's been in there, you know, since 2025, okay? Timelines, man. I fucking jump timelines.
So when doing this dive into the testimonials, I wanted to find people who are sharing what they are going through. And I left the names of these persons, their accounts within the video, so you can always go search them up. And these videos are like generating over 500k views. And if you read the comments, a lot of people are agreeing with them. And as always, I encourage you to do your own research, and I encourage you to have your own discernment at the end of the day. I can't tell you what to believe, and I would never force that upon you. I always tell you though, I want you to tell you. I want to tell you. Question everything. And that's a quote that many people, it's been out there. Question everything, you know, question everything, but question everything.
I didn't realize that people didn't know what CERN was when I posted that video yesterday, but since everybody wants to talk about it, I'm going to try to explain it. And yes, it's going to involve conspiracy theories, but I mean, we saw the president basically standing with Nordic aliens, so are we going to be surprised that I'm going to talk about this? So CERN is the biggest manufactured human-built machine that basically is like underground, and it is ginormous, and it runs in this big circle, and basically they have 2 tubes inside of it and put atoms that go like this, right? And then they push them at the speed of light, so they crash in together and then blow up and then look into it. Okay, that's basically like the main basic version of what this is. It's underground in Geneva, Switzerland. It's like, I think it's like 200 kilometers underground, I don't know, something like that, and it is ginormous. It is the biggest man-made machine ever. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about, like the specifics of it. Now I'm going to talk about the conspiracies of it. So basically, what I believe, and a lot of people believe, but apparently some people on the internet don't know how to use Google or do any sort of research on their own, is that every time that CERN shuts down,
we are jumping timelines, okay? So like when CERN is essentially messing with space and time, and they're opening these little, they call them microscopic black holes that can be safely closed. But essentially what it's doing, and what we all think it's doing, is it's opening up portals to jump between space and time. And when it shuts down, we essentially are jumping into timelines. So like 2008 is when it got made, 2012, etc., etc. 2020, obviously we know what happened then. So basically it's not that I thought something was going to happen yesterday, okay? CERN is going to be shut down for 4 years until 2030. And if you don't know about 2030, then I can't help you. You need to go look on the internet. But it's not going to be good when it turns back on in 2030. It's not necessarily that I thought something was going to happen yesterday. It's really the thought process of like what's going to come over the next 4 years and like what that timeline looks like. That's why a lot of us believe the cornucopia, the fruit of the loom, the Fruit Loop spelling different, the monocle with Monopoly, etc., etc., Mandela Effects. Like, we get the gist. So essentially, we have jumped timelines at least a few times, and I would say like specifically we noticed more in 2012 and 2020. CERN was shut down from 2018 to 2022, and this will be the biggest shutdown, and they are building a bigger one. And what is to come when that turns on depends on what you believe, but I know what I believe, and if you don't know what's happening in 2030, then that's on you. I know people can think I'm a conspiracy theorist, but like, let's be real. Things that are happening in our universe, like during this time, is it really that hard to believe? Is it really that hard to believe?
I'm not saying that CERN has changed timelines, but maybe I am. I'm not saying that every Mandela Effect proves that we're jumping between realities either, but I will say question it. When millions of people remember the same things that apparently never existed, it makes us question reality, doesn't it? And in this final CERN clip, this whole dance, this art, is totally bizarre. It feels like they're throwing it right in your face, but for those who have eyes to see or able to see past the mass deception.
Where again the entranced workers are walking in step up a platform towards a large screen. As you can see here, the workers are scaling the rock wall and they are digging a tunnel, it appears, into this wall. As the workers continue to excavate through the rock wall, it doesn't so much appear to be a tunnel. The more I look at it, it seems to be a portal that they've opened. The workers appear to be doing some sort of ritualistic dance to gain access or to have the portal open up for them. Once the portal opens and starts to take effect, the workers start to undress and things start to get a lot weirder. The workers that were digging the tunnel appear to have made a self-sacrifice and hung themselves in the portal. You can see on the screen that the sacrificed workers, or the workers that committed suicide, are spiraling down into abyss, probably the pit of hell. The further they go down, you will see hands reaching for them and clutching for them as they continue to fall. Once the three workers reach the bottom, they return as three spirits that are resurrected or lifted up into the sky. Not only are they lifted into the sky, it looks like the portal is transformed into some sort of eye, an all-seeing eye perhaps. You can see on the screen the three ghosts give way to three scarabs. A lot of symbolisms of three in this ceremony. You can see here that the goat man, or Satan, seems to be having some sort of sexual encounter with one of the women construction workers, or even a fallen angel perhaps. This just really seems a lot overboard for the opening ceremony to a scientific facility. There's just really got to be more than meets the eye here. I would really like to know what their goal is here. As the ritual continues, you will see on the screen the clock seems to be out of control, as if they're losing control of time. The large-headed figures, I believe, are to represent the heads of state or politicians that would appear or seem to be in cahoots or directly related to this ceremony, or even Satan himself. Here we see a lady dressed in red. Again, red symbolizes blood in these type of ceremonies. And in the background, you see the clock that is out of control. This losing control of time scenario, I've had a few people comment on the belief that this CERN machine has pushed us through or forced us into another dimension or an alternate reality. What do you?
Alright, I believe that this was the best time to wake up Strange at Chaos, because I have a lot of things to go over with you in the natural. It all ties to the supernatural. It always does at the end of the day. You know, everything happens in spiritual first and it happens in natural, but we'll keep the dark, demonic, scary stuff in HFC, and we'll bring the stranger stuff at Strange at Chaos, because it's all connected. That's the logo for both channels, and they're both connected, as you can see. Alright, until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, stay curious, stay aware, and never fear. Alright, Strange at Chaos, signing out.